Hello and welcome to the Business Solutions podcast. I'm Gemma Matton, Business Engagement Manager at the University of Suffolk, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Matthew Goakes, Regional Managing Director of Lovells. So construction is an industry undergoing real change, from skill shortages to increasing need for strong leadership and technical knowledge. Today, we'll explore Matthew's journey into construction, the skills and education needs of the industry, and the role apprenticeships play in developing the next generation of construction professionals. We'll also touch on the University of Suffolk's Level 6 construction apprenticeship starting this September. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Gemma.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So could you tell us a bit about how you started out in construction and what first drew you to the industry?
Sure. It's my 25th year now in the industry. I guess it was partially in my blood. So my grandfather had a construction company, Matthew Goakes and Sons, but my dad, obviously being one of those sons, actually went a different route. He didn't go into construction, but I think it was probably in the blood always. And I think the industry as a whole has always attracted me because of the process from commencement through to delivery and the satisfaction that you built something. I think it's good from that point of view. My route into construction is a good one for the university, I think, because it's how I did it. I trained on the job whilst completing a degree. So I started as a quantity surveyor, a junior quantity surveyor at the time, and I was 18 when I started. I did a couple of years at a college on day release and then went into doing 3 or 4 years to get a degree whilst working. And yeah, I found that was a good route in for me because when I finished college, I liked college. I didn't particularly like school. When I finished college, I didn't really want to go full-time into university because I was attracted by industry and probably making a bit of money. To the truth fit.
And then obviously apprenticeships is a great way of being able to do that, to learn 100%. And earn at the same time.
Yeah, I'm a bit biased because of that route I went in. But I think those that I work with now, either at a director level like myself, or those that are in the early stages of their career, if they've completed a route of apprenticeship, be that trade apprentice, be that management apprentice, or anything in between, I do genuinely think that gives them a better start when they come to the end of their academic route. That's not to say that full-time academia isn't good as well. I've got some great examples. A fellow director of mine, he did a degree full-time and that worked for him as well. So I think both routes work, but I must admit the apprentice route where you can support your own learning in industry, yeah, I think that there's real strength to that.
An employer also helps and supports them into developing in the way that you like your workforce to actually be able to work.
Yeah, I think the other thing is helping shape that learning. So I can think back, as I say, a little while ago, when I was being taught, you would be taught in the academic arena about principles of or policies of or the broader structure of whatever the subject is you're doing, but how that works in reality in the workplace will differ from business to business. So if you can capture an employee at the early stage of their career and help inform their learning by the business need, you tend to find that employee is a better employee for the future. And it also breeds a bit of loyalty because you're supporting that student, both in terms of time, your own education for them, and financially. So you tend to find that breeds loyalty and they stay with the business longer. Yeah, 100% there's a benefit that route.
Yeah. And if being a levy payer like Lovells are, you've got that training fund available to you as well to utilise.
Yeah, and the levy's massive. It's so helpful to us, but also our supply chain partners. Yeah, so we take on a plethora of either trade apprentices or management apprentice routes, but also we employ a lot of subcontractors and supply chain partners through our delivery programs. So we help them as well. We help them with unlocking levy. We hosted, for example, late last year, a supply chain conference in which I spoke about the levy and we had CITB come and they spoke about how they can help as well. I think that's really good. And I think it's also really important for SMEs. It's very easy for us to sit here and say, actually, you should all get your own apprentices to feed the future. That's actually really hard if you're an SME because you need to know where's the support coming from financially and actually how do you even go about the process? What you're doing here at the university, what the likes of CITB do, the chamber. I think all of that is really good to support future growth.
Yeah, and that is obviously something that at the university we are actually really putting a lot of effort into the knowledge of having the levy transfer, how to do that and how to tap into companies that do have levy spare that can donate some of their levy. How has the construction industry changed since your career began?
Yeah, in those 25 years, how's it changed? It's a funny one. We're creatures of habit in this country, way more so than other parts of Europe. So parts of it haven't changed. But what I can positively say is there has also been parts of it that fundamentally change, and that's certainly in relation to safety first. Without a doubt, it's a much, much safer environment, even in probably the last 15 years, certainly the last 25 years that I've been working in the industry. And inclusion and diversity. Without a doubt, now I work across a whole diverse demographic of colleagues, employees, or clients and partners. And that is very different to how when I first started. I also think the thing with the industry now is there are more doors open than what there were once. I think we can all be guilty of looking backwards. And if you say construction to someone, they basically thought, well, it's a bricklayer, a carpenter, or an architect, and that's about it. But actually, the truth is there's something like 138 different roles in the industry that cover all aspects, literally all aspects. And if you're a student right now that really enjoys maths, there's a route for you into the industry. If you're a student that enjoys geography, there's a route into the industry. And I think that route in the industry is different now to what it was when I started. But yeah, it's changed in its inclusion, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. It's still got change to come, and it can still improve further like every industry, but it has changed, yeah.
Because I know that obviously there is a massive push for women in construction as well. How have you found that with numbers of women coming into the construction industry?
It's a challenge, I'm not going to lie. And some of that, if I'm honest, goes back to almost that primary school education and that early years learning and putting people in boxes. It does still happen. You wouldn't believe it, but it does still happen. People come through primary into high school and there's an element of, well, there's hair and beauty and there's construction, and it tends to go one way or the other. And that's, we have to challenge that. We have found it improved. It has improved. And I think part of that is the communication piece, things like this, things that can get the voice out there to students, be that male or female, to help them understand how the industry can work for them. It has changed. Right now, we've got two, for example, we've got a graduate and a management trainee, both female, one of whom came into the industry because her family was, and the other who came into the industry because she just thought it was interesting. And you thought, great, that's really good because I don't have to go back long where that wouldn't occur. So that's really good.
Yeah. And as you said, there's over 100 roles within the construction industry. So there's so many different positions that they'd be able to go into. Sure. And I have worked in the construction industry as well, and I actually really loved it and enjoyed it.
It's a good industry.
It is. Yeah. It really is. Yeah. It really is. So what are the biggest skills or workforce challenges you're seeing in construction today?
Yeah. So, there's the obvious trade skill shortage. Today, it's not at the fore of everyone's discussion because sadly with where some sort of economical situations are, some development and construction isn't coming forward as quickly as we'd like. So by nature of that, there's less development need, which means there's less trade skill need today. That's not to say there's not a shortage, but what's going to happen, and I truly believe it'll happen over the course of this year, probably by half year, there will be a massive need for trade and we'll have a shortage. There's just a shortage in trade. Some of that is, again, education as to the route you can go. Just because you start as a carpenter doesn't mean you're going to stay a carpenter indefinitely. You can go into management from that. And some of it is, dare I say, media, social media. It doesn't portray construction always in a positive light. It might portray IT and that world in a more positive light. And that's fine. Of course, there's a need, but there are trade needs out there that people should support more. I'm happy to say that when times are good, bricklayers are probably some of the most well-paid people in the industry. Like, it's really good money to be made. Yes, it has its challenges. It's a manual job, but some of the people I know in the industry and have known for lots of years that are the happiest are those that have come through the trade route. So, there is a shortage there that we need to address. And then, as I said before, on the management side, there's always a need to keep further in our offering, be that around quantity surveyors, site managers. Probably site managers is one where there are some challenges as well at the moment. Again, I can't say enough as an industry, but let me step back. We're always going to be building. Society is always going to need homes, hospitals, schools. So there's always going to be construction. So by nature of that, there's always going to be long-term job opportunities. And because there's always a need, it's then competitive. And because it's competitive, it can be well paid. So I think as an industry, as well as flying the flag of it's actually really good fun to work in, it's got good job satisfaction, you can make some good money. So give it a go.
Yeah. And it's one of the only industries that AI can't get involved in at the moment. Yeah.
There's elements around the design side that definitely AI is coming into, but in terms of the pure delivery.
The actual trade side.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't see that probably in any of our lifetime being the case.
No. So actually, I'd say it's quite a good avenue to get into at the moment. So how important is education and ongoing professional development in building strong site managers and future leaders? I know you just touched on it just now, but what is it that you would say that needs focus on?
It's really important because if you can come into any industry, I would say, but certainly into ours, with a blend of on-the-job training, be that trade or management, as well as education, you're setting yourself up to the best opportunity. But the industry is always changing. By nature of construction development, there are product changes, there are certainly regulation changes with the ever-changing revolving door of government, which we won't talk about today. There are policy changes. So you need to be well educated in it, both in terms of what's happening now, but also to have that inquisitive mindset. So if you come through an academic route, I think it sets you up well. And if you stay alive to that in your career, so be that through CPD training or be that through bespoke courses, I think it's really important. I still like it now. I still on occasion get to do some training. Yeah, you have to step out of the daily job, but it's good. It gives you some real insight into what's happening in the world. So yeah, education is definitely important.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are your views on apprenticeship? Obviously, you've come through the apprenticeship route and it sounds like you're actually an advocate of that. So how do you see it as a route through the construction industry?
Yeah, again, bit biased. I'd say it's the best route through the industry personally because of having that ability to learn what you earn, but to effectively learn the academic side as well as learning the business and delivery side. So I think it's incredibly important. I do want to stress, though, it's not to say that if people are in full-time education into the industry, that's a bad route. I don't think it is. I think it's a very good route as well. I just think the blend of having an apprentice route where you've got the support of industry alongside the support of your university or college, you're covering all bases, aren't you? So you're setting yourself up for the best opportunity going forward.
It's quite a nice hand-holding experience,
Definitely.
Isn't it? So rather than getting thrown straight into the workplace from an educational side, it's just a little bit more of a hand-holding experience to guide you into the workplace.
Yeah, and what you also find, again, most industries, but certainly construction, people like talking about their jobs. So you'll find as a trainee or a management trainee or a graduate, whatever the level may be, hopefully those who you work with will love to spend the time with you. Yes, we're all busy. Yes, we've got our day jobs to do, but I can think of a management trainee we've got now. If she asks me about something to do with the industry, really like it because I like to tell her because I enjoy then, and you also step back yourself and think, oh yeah, I quite enjoy doing that. So I think, an employer who wants success out of their apprentices will make the time. And that's nice for the apprentice because, as you say, it's a big scary world. So to have your hand held through that initial point is good.
Yeah. And obviously with an apprenticeship, one of the benefits that they would get is having a mentor as well that will be there on hand and supporting them. And also they'll have support from the training provider as well. And that also goes to the employer. So the employer is looking for help and support with their apprentice. They've got the training provider to also call upon and help and guide them.
Yeah. And I think going back to the point I mentioned earlier with SMEs, that's really important because everyone's busy doing their job. So why should they know how to train an apprentice? So if the training provider is giving them the support, then excellent.
How do level 6 or degree level apprenticeships benefit both business and the individual?
Yeah, I think the best benefit to the individual is having the ability to learn in the college environment or university environment whilst also learning in the real world. I think there's a real benefit there because you can be behind your desk listening to your lecturer talk about whatever the subject might be, and then a few days later you can see it happening in reality. There is massive strength to that because if you're constantly learning out of a textbook, constantly learning what's on the screen, then
going back to 25 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. One day. Thanks for that. If you're constantly learning what's on the screen, you can take it in, but it's all theoretical. It's what it might be. But if you can relate that to the real world, brilliant. So that's definitely helpful for the apprentice. I think for the employer, almost the same in reverse. You know that person that's coming through that you're supporting for 3, 4, 5, however many years the process might be, are going to come as a concluded package. They're going to understand your business. They're going to understand the industry as well as having that academic support. So you just generally create a more well-rounded individual. Yeah.
So from an employer's perspective, how valuable is the level 6 design and construction management apprenticeship that we've got at the University of Suffolk starting this September?
Yeah, super important, really. So for us in industry, it's good to know that the colleges and universities are putting more time and effort into that side of things. It's really important that the university speaks to industry, which obviously you're doing. I'm here today. That's part of that, which is good. But it's important because it just adds credibility to that next stage of academia for the students. Without it, we are going to continue to struggle to feed the industry. We've probably lacked it a little bit, if I'm honest, in East Anglia generally. So it's good to see that it's starting here. I mean, I've learned more and more about this university in the last probably 3 years, and genuinely, not just saying it, it's really good. I'm really impressed, but it's had limitations around that construction side. So the fact it's now coming through in a county where, let's be honest, there's a lot of construction happening, it's really good. And it aligns quite nicely with the work that I know the colleges across Suffolk are doing as well. So you'd like to think there's a good route for a student to take there, but really important for us to see a university taking it seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously being the university, we go from a level 4. We do have a couple of level 4s, but majority are level 6. So it is good that we have got that route for people to go from college into the university environment, where they can either go to university or they can do an apprenticeship within a similar role. One thing that you were saying about us engaging with businesses, that's something that we do with every apprenticeship that we have that's coming through, just purely because we want to be able to deliver what businesses are actually needing. So we like to listen to what their needs are, what their wants are, what the industry is crying out for, and then be able to then deliver a qualification that adheres to that.
Yeah, well done, university, because we work a lot with colleges, probably more than university, try and capture that early stage. And there are those that do it well, that like yourselves are engaging well with industry. And there are those that have the want and perhaps desire, but don't always have the ability to engage with the industry. And that's tough, because then you're seeing missed opportunities. But that point you said there about taking the level 4s through to level 6, the great point there is it gives like an aspirational route for students in college, because there has been a danger probably for a while that maybe a student's at college and they don't know what's next. And they're not necessarily ready to go straight into work, or they may, by lack of a further route, go down a different industry. So brilliant. Thumbs up from us, Stephanie.
Yeah, it can be somebody that goes straight from college into university, or you could have somebody that's been in the industry for 20 years that then wants to progress, and they can still go on an apprenticeship. I think that's a misconcept, that apprenticeships are just for the younger generation. It can literally be somebody who's 17 or somebody that's 104.
A career change. 104. I mean, my granddad's 102 and he probably would give it a go, but I don't know about whether to do an apprentice. But you're right. And if I go back to when I started at college, there were 2 individuals on there. One lady who I'm going to guess was late 50s, and a chap who was in his 60s. And they were both there to basically just further their academic ability within the world they're in. One of them, I think, had taken a change in their career route, and the other one had been in the industry a long time, but just felt they were falling behind. I thought, fair play. And I think also that's quite nice, because it adds diversity to that classroom experience. The other students that might come in at a very young age can actually look across at one of their peers thinking, oh, they know what they're doing and they're here, so this can be a good thing.
Yeah. And it's a great way for an employer to retain talent as well. So if somebody has decided to take a different route, rather than losing them completely, to then be able to put them on an apprenticeship program, to then retain them within the industry. So there's so many diverse ways that you can look at an apprenticeship. It's basically apprenticeship, but upskilling as well.
Yeah, it is. And that's a good point to make, because, you know, I think I mentioned earlier on that within Lovell, we have high staff retention. We have a lot of staff that thankfully join us and stay for us for the bulk of their careers, which is great. But in doing so, you don't want them to become stagnant or not have the opportunity they might get if they moved. So we do have exactly that. Those that have been in the industry a while that we still support on training, and this could be exactly a route for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So what advice would you give to somebody already working in construction who's looking to progress into a management role or a level 6 apprenticeship?
Good question. I mean, so just do it would be the first one. Like, go for it, give it a go. I think Richard Branson was always quoted as saying, like, say yes and work out how you're going to do it afterwards later. I kind of agree, if I'm honest. When I was a junior surveyor, I got offered an opportunity after probably about 2 years in the industry, and I overthought it and actually went to my then director and said, oh, yeah, thank you, but I'm not sure it's for me yet. I think maybe it's a step too far. To which he said, no, I think you'll be fine. And I said, well, no, I think maybe it's too far. And he said, no, you'll be fine. And I soon realised he was asking me, but maybe not asking me. Anyway, I took the then role and it flourished my career off the back of it. So after that, I did take the motto of just saying yes to everything, with a bit of caution, just to be clear. But it works. Yeah, say yes, give it a go. If you take on any challenge with the right mindset, generally you're going to succeed. It's not to say you'll get everything correct. Of course, you're going to make mistakes and that. But if you're doing it with like-minded individuals and supportive colleagues or lecturers around you, then yeah, you'll do well. So give it a go, push on, be respectful. That's an obvious one, I think. And if you really want to get me onto it, I'm going down the route of empathy, because if you are an empathetic person and you become an empathetic manager, you can pretty much do anything, is my opinion.
It's stood you in good stead, because you've gone throughout the whole career journey and now become regional managing director.
Thanks, yeah.
It is a great, great opportunity at apprenticeships. It's education and getting out there, and the construction industry is such a great industry to get involved in as well.
It really is, yeah.
So thank you, Matthew, for sharing your insights today. It's been really valuable to actually learn more about the construction industry, the apprenticeships, and your route and your journey here.
Thank you.
So for anyone listening who is an employer or someone working within the construction industry and looking to progress, the University of Suffolk is now enrolling for our Level 6 Design and Construction Management Apprenticeship, which is starting this September. This program is designed to support businesses in developing confident, capable leaders while enabling individuals to gain a degree-level qualification alongside real workplace experience. If you'd like to find out more, please get in touch with the University of Suffolk's Business Engagement team, or you can find more details on our website. We'd be delighted to talk to you. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.